Hi, first grade. I'm so happy I'm going to be doing Bible with you today. The workbook page that we're going to be doing is Lesson 30, David and Goliath. We'll go to this in a few minutes, but first let's talk about the story about David and Goliath. And you might be thinking, oh, I've already heard this story lots of times, which that's probably true. But many times when I read about things in the Bible, different times, different things stand out to me. So we'll listen up, and there might be something today that you might hear like, oh, I didn't remember that part. Well, we're going to continue talking about David. Last week when we talked about David, he was still a young boy at that point, being a shepherd for his father's sheep. He would take them out into the hillside. He would protect them, watch over them. And it was kind of like a parallel how our Heavenly Father is our shepherd and we're his sheep. Well, today, when we pick up our story of David, he's a little older now, still young, but a little older, grown a little bit more, and God is using him in so many ways already. And you might remember he was told when he was quite young that one day he was going to be king, but not yet. God is still teaching him and guiding him in his life. Well, one day he would be king, but for now, the king in that land was King Saul. King Saul. Now, at the beginning of the reign of King Saul was a godly man. He loved and he worshiped and he believed in the one true God. But as years went by, he kind of thought, oh, I'm the king, I'm in charge. And guess what? He kind of forgot about his Heavenly Father. He was doing things on his own strength, not trusting and believing in God. Well, the soldiers came to Saul one day and said, King Saul, do you know what? There's this man, and he is huge. He's like a giant, and his name is Goliath. And all of the soldiers had run away from Goliath. They were so afraid of him, and they were afraid because he was so big. And King Saul tried every one of his men to not be afraid, to go fight Goliath. But all of them said, no, not me. No, thank you, King. No, I don't want to do that, King. So then one day, David, the shepherd boy, he came to King Saul and he said, Saul, King Saul, me over here? Yeah. I'm not afraid of that giant Goliath. I can kill him. I can take care of it. And King almost laughed at him and he said, David, you're just young. You're not that big. Goliath is a huge person. Well, guess what? David didn't believe in just himself. He believed in the one true God that was going to help him be able to defeat that giant and kill him. Well, he said, I have a plan. And Saul said, David, I have this big old heavy armor and I want you to wear it. Now in armor, you may remember our little friend Bacon a couple of weeks ago. Miss Arnsey had an armor on Bacon. And remember how Bacon kind of felt like it was all big and clumsy and covered his body and it was falling all over the place. Well, guess what? David was not as large as King Saul, so the armor was very heavy. It just covered up a lot of his body, but he felt very clumsy, and probably the helmet kind of was moving around. It didn't fit just right. And he said, you know what, King Saul, I don't really want to wear this armor. No, I don't really feel very comfortable with it. And the reason people would wear armors in those days when they would go to battle is a lot of the soldiers fought with spears, and they would have a very sharp point on them. But by having this armor covering their body, it would protect their body from being pierced or cut. Also the same thing with their head. They have this armor that covered a great portion of their head that would protect them. And so David said to the king, you know, I'm going to go get down by the river some smooth stones. Five. I'm going to go get 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, they're not not jagged or anything. They're just smooth stones. He did not get a horrendously big stone that had a big old sharp point on it. No. He just got 5 stones. He had a slingshot. That was like a leather belt kind of that would hold one rock at a time. And when he would go like this, the rock would fling out and would travel a very far distance. Well, he had had a lot of practice using slingshots when he was out in the hills protecting those sheep. So he's, I feel much more comfortable, King, if I can use my 5 stones right here, my stones in my slingshot. So the king said, all right. Well, David was all ready to go, and he approached that great big giant. He goes, Goliath, I'm over here. I'm over here. And Goliath just laughed. Ha, ha, ha. What do you think you're going to be able to do? I'm so big and mighty. And David said, but the Lord, he's in me. He's helping me. So David picked up one of his little stones. He put it into his slingshot. He whirled it around his head. The rock flew straight out. And guess what? It hit Goliath right in the middle of his head, right up in here. The only place that wasn't covered with either armor or helmet. Now, I think David was a good shot, but I also believe God helped direct that stone exactly where it needed to go to kill that giant. Now, David used one stone. That giant fell over. There was a big thud on the ground, and that was it. That giant was killed. And did David need to use any of the other rocks? No. Can you believe it? With God's help, David was able to kill that giant with one stone. I believe that's truly amazing. Amazing. And the people were so thrilled. They're like, David, we are no longer afraid. You were able to kill that giant. David, thank you. Thank you. Well, the people were so grateful. And he was kind of like a hero to them almost. And he was like, oh, don't be afraid. It is God that helps me. It is God. So he wasn't taking credit for it. Now, I'm going to see how you were listening. Okay. So I'm going to ask a few questions and think in your head your answers. Okay. Why didn't David want to wear that great big old armor? Why? I think he felt it was too much, too heavy. He felt clumsy, like he couldn't walk around and do what he needed to do. How many stones did David pick up? Well, if you said 5, you are correct. 5 stones. How many stones did David actually end up using to kill that giant Goliath? If you said 1, you are correct. Good listening. Who directed that stone to hit the giant in that perfect place on his head? If you thought God, that is correct again. Great job. Why didn't David need to use the other 4 stones? Because Goliath was killed when he was struck with one single stone. God directed it and used it perfectly. So even though David knew that one day he was going to be the king, he still continued to watch over his father's sheep. And Saul was the one that was still currently the king. And remember I mentioned that Saul had forgotten about God and about doing what God wanted. He kind of was taking control. So he also didn't like that the people were giving David so much praise. He became very jealous of David, and it really bothered him. And he began to not feel well. He wasn't sleeping well. And some of the servants for the king said, "Ooh, there's something wrong with the king." Yes, there is. He needs something.